Return to Glory podcast, August 11th. Hunter Sarbernicki, Austin Rose, Dakota Free Tag, offensive preview for the Corn Huskers coming at you today. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about some of the news happening this week, which not much besides a couple of the injuries that have occurred. Now, I will say, when we say injuries, and I think when Rural talks about them too, there's obviously the guys that get like banged up, right? Like, but then we have the season ending ones. Mac Markway was the one that happened last week at the tight end position. Bly Hill, I'm a guy that was going to have probably a pretty significant impact on special teams. He's out for the year. Maybe he plays some in the secondary as well. Anything else I'm missing or anybody else?
I don't think so. There was some other person that got hurt, but the name didn't even ring a bell. So don't think it's gonna impact us too much.
Well, we'll get into it later, but I don't know how good that tight end was that got hurt. But anytime you're losing a tight end right now, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean he's been banged up. He was out last year too, for the same injury. So not great. Well, yeah, the tight end position's one that's probably not our deepest right now.
We'll get to it though. I don't want to, unless that's where we're going to start with the tight end
No,
group.
we're not starting
If you
there.
jump into it.
Yeah, I guess other thing, Troy Danon spoke the other day, and just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Troy. We haven't talked about him a lot. Our new AD that came would have been about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago at least. Came right at the NCAA tournament game in Memphis for the basketball team. That's when he started. He's been here now for a little bit. Haven't heard a lot about him, but he spoke a little bit about the football team and his plan for using Memorial Stadium for other events as well, not just football games. The like similar things to what the volleyball team did a couple years ago, but concerts. I heard
Bud
maybe like,
Crawford fight.
but yeah, I heard like Savannah Bananas, and maybe not just using the football stadium, but like just other facilities to bring in revenue. He talked about a little bit about our schedule and Friday night games, how he doesn't mind the Friday night games. Some schools, aka Ohio State, really complains about those, which they haven't even played in any, I don't think. But
Probably not.
oh no, Ohio State was complaining about the noon games. That's what they were complaining about.
And they
So,
kick one off, start the year.
yep.
Life's tough. Oh, the poor noon games. Poor babies. I like
Oh
noon
yeah.
games.
Any thoughts
As
on
a
Troy
fan,
Danon? I mean, I I think he stayed out of the news, which is usually a good thing if you're an AD. You don't want to be the one making headlines. But to me, I think he's done a good job so far. Like, I think he's got a good picture and a good vision for the program. I think he's also young enough and has a visionary mindset with all the new stuff going on. If you have a leadership team that's lagging behind the times, you're in trouble
it
in
definitely
today's day
feels
and
very
age.
much financially focused, which is fine. That's what they're supposed to
Yep.
do. But with Trev, he felt a little more, I don't, program focused, and Troy feels a little more finance focused, which is fine. There's two different approaches for a job that's very much involved in both.
And money now is what's speaking,
Money, yep.
what's
And
talking.
there's plenty of other issues going on of, you need money to have good programs, and federal money's drying up, and so he's got a lot of stuff to figure out.
Like you said, the AD is kind of like the O line. The less you hear their name, the better. Just stay on the news. And Trev loved to make headlines and news all the time. He's always saying stuff.
I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about Trev.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's Monday. Let's just start on a good note.
Okay, there was one part of that press conference. he came out with. He said, now I don't know if it's fully sold out yet. But there's 60,000 Husker tickets sold, 6,000 Cincinnati tickets sold for the Kansas City game.
Dak, do the math. What percentage of Husker fans is that?
10% Cincinnati, 90% Huskers.
Pretty close. Good job.
So there must
Very
not be
good.
sold out if it's only 66,000 tickets.
But I know it's
But
getting close.
Yeah, he says it will be sold out, which that is a Cincinnati home game. So if you do the math, still is, right?
What do you mean?
No,
Just
not at
no.
all. I don't know why. Why did they agree to play this in Kansas City?
I think
Revenue.
Indianapolis kicked them out. I don't know. Travis Kelsey, I have no idea.
Guys, it's revenue thing, all for them. Like I think initially it was Cincinnati's
That's true.
home game, and then it went to Indianapolis.
Cincinnati gets a good cut of the money, whether it's Husker fans or not.
Correct. And
No.
and
They
they
get more money
realized
because more people will go if
correct.
it's in KC.
Correct.
So
That's
will the
fair.
end zones be Cincinnati?
No, so how the stadium sits, it's like split. And I'm going to mess up the end zones if I try to say it, but it's one end zone in the sideline, Cincinnati, and then one end zone in a sidelines, Nebraska. So when you go to purchase your tickets, like Nebraska fans are obviously trying to pick the Nebraska side, but you don't have to.
It
So
doesn't. If it's 90% Husker fan,
I don't think there is.
I don't think there will be a section of Cincinnati fans that are all. Maybe there'll be like a little parent section that they reserve for them. But there'll be Cincinnati fans kind of spread throughout. It won't be like they're supposed to be, but I think Husker fans have bought the Cincinnati tickets. I'm guessing.
at this point, that's totally fine.
Yeah. So it'll be a home game for us as far as the crowd goes. It will still be a road game in the aspect that you're still traveling. You're obviously not at your home field playing on your home turf, but the crowd will definitely be in favor of us, which I think is pretty big here to start the year. We need to win that game, guys. It's I get nervous more. I'm getting more nervous than excited. I think I've been excited for a long time. I'm getting now more nervous just because this stupid first game bug that we have and playing somebody that is good enough to beat us. Like,
We'll be fine. And you're going to the game.
oh yeah.
You know.
Okay, here's the actual numbers. 62,000 tickets have been sold, and 10% of that is Cincinnati. So 90% Husker fans.
Yep.
And Arrowhead holds 76,000. They'll get to that. So
I saw Michigan was the only sellout so far.
Good for the big house. All right, offense. We're going to do a deep dive here into each position, talk about the coaches, what to expect from the offensive side of the ball, talk about the players, figure out who we think needs to have a breakout year or is going to have a breakout year, some guys maybe to watch. I think throughout spring and fall camp, you probably hear, if you follow Husker football in depth and listen to other podcasts of the news, you probably hear a ton about a lot of different guys. And will anybody know the exact team that gets rolled out on the first Thursday? No, but it's fun to talk about. We've kind of avoided going into too much depth and saving it for this episode. The defense special teams we will do tomorrow or Thursday, not tomorrow. So we'll get to that in a bit. So we're going to focus strictly on offense here and Dana Holgerson's group as his first full year of offensive coordinator. So before we dive into players and positions, I want to talk about Dana for a little bit. First year, OC obviously had 4 or 5 games last year to end the season. Came from West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Been known for, as Dak says, and what he thinks we're just going to throw the air raid and sling it around, as he mentioned a couple of episodes ago. Dana, in my mind, I'm intrigued by what he's going to bring, but I think the most important thing that you have to call out is he understands offense to an X's and O standpoint very, very well. And regardless of what we're running, I think that piece in itself, while it very broad, I think it's very important that he's got a lot of experience. And I'm not going to call him like the mad scientist prototype of offensive coordinators, but I kind of think of him a little bit that way, maybe a little more like roughed up version, given his appearance factored in there too. I think he knows offense very well. And whether we're running the air raid or running some variation of it, it's going to help. I have faith in that. He was one that was behind a lot of the mesh type concept that kind of got created 10 to 15 years ago, which for those of you that don't know what that is, those are like the crossing routes across the middle, whether you run them with tight ends or receivers, that you're not hitting the defenders, but you're just running right by them. And you're not setting illegal screens, but you get in the way of the defenders and opens up crossing routes when they're in man coverage. Zone routes, you can kind of find the holes. So he was one that was kind of behind a lot of that in creating that. My high level take is I'm excited because he understands offense, and obviously he's got some tools and some pieces to work with. But I don't have many hesitations, I guess, when it comes to Dana Holgerson and my belief for faith in him.
I agree. I feel better about him than Satterfield. That's for sure.
I mean, name the last OC that you felt better about.
Good about Scott Frost as a head coach, offensive head coach. Beyond that, gosh, it's been a while.
No Mark Whipple.
No Mark Whipple. I didn't feel terrible about Mark Whipple. I'm not gonna talk about Mark Whipple. I won't put on a Mark Whipple run. No, you look at the numbers last year because he was the OC the last 4 games, counting the bowl game, and statistically the numbers weren't that much different, but he was much more efficient. The run game was more efficient. The pass game was more efficient. Um, I remember the Wisconsin game being like, "Oh shit, this could be fun."
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully a whole nother year. Well, I guess not even a whole nother year, and off season with Dylan improving, and he got his wide receivers coach in key or not Shorts. I can't think of his first name. It starts with a D.
Keel Shorts. Yep.
Yes. So hopefully that helps as well. I don't know. I like him as an OC. I won't at this point. I don't want him as my head coach, but I'm more than happy to give him a run at OC.
I mean, it shows how bad Satterfield was last year that he could come in and just throw together 4 games and completely change the offense. Which I've said what I thought about Satterfield, so I won't. I don't actually think that they're going to run the air raid. I hope they do. It's
No.
going to be.
Do
So
you think that would benefit Nebraska football to run the 5-out air raid?
the fans or the team?
Both.
Yeah, the team. Like, do you think that will help us?
No, not the
Then
Big
why
Ten.
do you hope that we do it?
Because it's the fan side of it. It'd be awesome to watch. I think,
Of course, you are just the sucker fan, aren't you?
I think it'd be so much fun to watch an air raid in the Big Ten. Anyway,
You are the problem that Nebraska football took a decline in getting away from the option heavy run. You're the problem.
F it. I'll say it. I think it would help Nebraska run the air
There
raid
you go. The
with these
hard
wide receivers
drag.
they have and the speed. I think it would.
In the Big Ten, don't let me
Yes.
argue. I could argue about this the whole podcast deck, and you are not going to win.
Yes.
In the Big Ten, you think that's the best option, just like Wisconsin did last year.
Yes. Wisconsin didn't have anything to run it.
Oh, so you think we have all the pieces to run the air raid?
Yes.
And you think in the Big Ten that's the type of offense that has success when you don't have the best players in the league?
I do with the way your team's set up right now. Yes.
Based off of what evidence, Dak?
Um, there's no
I
evidence,
mean,
but
the zag here, Hunter, could be what evidence is there of what we're currently
against it.
doing is good.
I'm not saying what we're currently doing. I'm
Okay.
just saying I don't want to run the air raid. I want to run the ball more. And I do think
Would you
Holgorsen is going to have. I think it's going to be very balanced in what we decide to do. But
Say 2 years ago, we ran the ball 70% of the time.
would you
and we
rather
were
be
and we were
hurting
in
with
we were in about every game.
We lost them all, but
I don't think we need to make drastic. Well, I say that, and we hired 3 new coordinators, but drastic overall changes. We got to find a way to win, and that's the big thing. And Rule said it the other day in a press conference when asked that question. He just made the comment that we just have to get better. When you have better players, and so Dak arguing your side a little bit here. He's like, once you get better players, you start to win those games. And all these guys that we had last year that played, we just got a little bit better, brought in some guys, made us a little bit better. And then once you get better players, you start to win more close games, which in simplest terms is probably not a horrible way of looking at it. But again, until we see it, I won't believe it. So hopefully we can do that.
would you rather run what Michigan did last year where they literally would not throw the ball?
Well, no, Dak, because I think we do have a quarterback that can throw it a little bit. And do I want to run Iowa's offense? No, but has Iowa's offense won them 9 or 10 games in the Big Ten about every year?
defense
Yeah.
has won them 9 or 10
And
games
their
every
defense,
year.
like combined with
Their
their
offense
defense,
has lost them. I would not say their offense has won them any
but
games.
it's been
Their defense
complementary to their
literally had more
defense.
touchdowns than their offense like last year. Something like
It's been
crazy.
complementary to their defense because they that I
Yeah, I
don't I
guess.
do I think Iowa will ever win anything? No, like I don't think so with their offense. I don't think you have potential to do that. So it's not Iowa's offense, but it's a
You
combination of
clearly haven't been
something.
watching their offseason hype videos.
Hey, their quarterback in the spring game went 9-21 with a pick six
That's because
and
the defense
two
is so
fumbled
good.
snaps. So yeah, this stud they're talking about.
I mean, talking about passing and running, last year we did lead the Big Ten in time possession. And we were like number 4 in the nation, something crazy. So even though we weren't, I mean, it was close to a 50-50. I don't know what the actual split was, but I think it was pretty dang close. I think that could work.
And I think, as we've talked about, having a controlled offense, understanding the clock, like we've seen the opposite side of it, it really helps your defense. From a rest standpoint, from a schematic standpoint, like it does. And I think we saw that last year, what the benefits of that are. Now, again, do we need to run the clock down to 2 every time? No, but having a good balance on offense, not going 3 and out, Scott Frost throwing swing passes like that definitely helps.
Man, that was
That side of the ball.
a trauma. That swing pass, the Scott Frost swing pass. Wow, I haven't thought that in a while. That was a moment of, past
actually
trauma.
actually try to get the first down 3rd and 8 instead of just giving them the ball right back.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's dive into the positions a little deeper here. And every year, I think we talk about where to start at this episode. I think last couple of years we've gone to the offensive line. I'm going to start with the position that it's the man's team. It's his program right now, and we're going there with Dylan Raiola and the quarterback. Obviously, we still believe the offensive line. It starts there, but it is Dylan Raiola's football team from out every way we can grab it. If you ask anybody in Nebraska, but probably nationally, who is Nebraska football right now from a player standpoint? Name the one guy. Everybody's saying Dylan Raiola, and it's not even a question. He's the clear QB1, as Rule even said the other day. It's not even a question that he's starting last year. Remember it last year at this time, while we kind of knew, Rule did not want to name Raiola the starter. And we didn't know that at this time. But it's been clear since the season got over that he will be our starting quarterback for this year. And he's made strides in doing so. And not only that, he's been probably our best recruiter from getting guys to come in as well and setting the direction for the program. So on the field, Dylan's seemed to get his body right. And that was a big topic conversation that we brought up. Again, have we seen it live in action? No, but he does look the part now. And I know that was a big thing for him in the offseason. His intangible part of the game is, I think, the most valuable. Obviously, he's got a lot of skill that goes along with that. But Dylan's our leader, and we're gonna go from a momentum, from a drive and energy level. We're gonna go as he goes from the offensive side of the ball, and how he meshes with Dana's concepts is the part that's we kind of saw glimpses of, but we don't exactly know everything we are going to see in the fall. So very excited for Dylan, to the point that almost, you don't even talk about it. I don't even, when you're talking about it with other people, your friends, family, like you don't even
He's
really
the
bring
known.
Dylan up too much because you feel good about it.
Right. He's the known entity. It's like, yeah, there's no question. Like we all feel comfortable with it. And not that there's no question of how
Yep.
well it's gonna go, but
Comfortable.
there's no like, well, I don't know, maybe Jalen Gramstad, might be the better option. It's like, no, Dylan's the best option. He was solid last year as a true freshman. I think we all expect him to make some improvements, maybe a few more, I don't know, better decisions, maybe a little more mobile in the pocket. But even then, like, I don't, again, it's been a year. I've had a kid, so the memory is foggier than it used to be. Um, but I don't really remember a lot of times last year being like, what the heck are you doing? That was a boneheaded play. I mean, not that it didn't happen, but it wasn't
Most
what it was.
of that came, it would have been probably holding the ball a little bit too long in the pocket.
Yeah,
And the
Mhm.
couple of times that he did get out and run and you wanted him to run, like he would slide before the first down. Like as
right.
far as
Or
Aaron,
like he would hold it too long, but he didn't, it wasn't like an interception or, it didn't always result in a sack. Like he got rid of it, but it's like, what are you doing? Why are you holding it so long? But it didn't feel like it was that large of a penalty. So I agree. I don't think there's that much to talk about him. Dak, try to talk about him. Let's hear it.
I feel like that's a lot of freshman stuff, is holding the ball and
Yeah.
too long. And
Processing.
yeah, the main thing is, and um, we are talking about with your last OC that you're comfortable with. Who was the last quarterback coming into the season that you're like, okay, we're fine that position, right?
Adrian.
Martinez, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a few years, but we're known for starting freshmen and riding them out for 4 years. I mean, we've done that several times in our lifetime.
Tanner Lee is
So
the answer to that. No,
Definitely. Yes, I remember going into that year.
um,
Ugh.
so I didn't know this, which this is terrible. Nebraska's the 103rd ranked offense last year. I mean,
I thought it actually could be worse.
a lot of that has to do with dumb nuts being your OC, but
You just call Marcus Satterfield dumb nuts.
Dumb nuts.
yes, that guy is a idiot. Anyway, but the main thing I want to see Raiola do, and I've said this many times, and he's talked about his weight he's lost. Run the ball more when you have that open field. Take off and run.
So Dak, this is a topic too. Do you envision more designed runs this year from Dana, and I'm not saying a
Yeah.
lot, but
Yeah,
are you
more.
thinking more? I mean, there's a fine line. What are you seeing when you say Dylan Raiola running the ball? What does that mean?
I was thinking more along the lines of when there's 10 yards
Like
open,
the
take it.
Mahomes scramble,
Yeah,
where it's just like he's not running it, but if it's a wide open field, it's like, yeah, okay, I will take the 10 yards.
yeah. When there's 10 yards there, take it. Instead of
Yeah.
being instead of being gassed after running 3 yards.
I think early on, this is my prediction. I mean, I think that part of his game hopefully will improve. I think just being more elusive in the pocket, whether it's even just avoiding a sack to get the ball thrown away. What I think early on we're going to see, I think we're going to see a couple of designed QB runs that are going to surprise some people, and defenses included. In big third down moments, QB draws, some zone reads that he pulls and runs for 7 yards for a first down or a touchdown. Like I think we could see some of that. I hope we see some of that. I think that's a very useful offensive play design that catches teams off guard, especially for a guy that has such a strong arm and talented arm. Our past quarterbacks that have been able to do that, they haven't been as good as passers as Dylan has. Now they've had better legs, but I think that's a very, very big piece of an offense if you can do that. And I think Dylan can. It all is going to come down to how comfortable, this offense is, and really probably comes down to Dana and then Rule, him getting hit and taking some shots. Now Dylan obviously can be smart with sliding, getting down, but there's a fine line of getting that extra 2 yards for a first down, and taking a shot when you might need to and not doing it. Mahomes is really figured out how to do that and milk it a little bit when you're going out of bounds and getting some extra penalty yards too. Like he has played so much football that he knows that level himself. Dylan being only a sophomore, that might take a little bit of time still. And I think there could be some frustration with some people along those lines when he's running the ball. Do I think he should be trying to get every first down and just getting drilled? Like, no. That's what I did as a quarterback when I could have gave a shit less if I got hurt in high school. Because I was a crappy thrower anyways. Like, so I never slide. But then the guy behind me who was a better passer, like he was told to get down and get out of bounds. And I mean, that made sense. So do I think Dylan's going to take every shot? No. Do I think he's going to slide every time? No. But what's that fine line in between there? As he's our clear QB1 and a very, not to discredit the other guys, but a very significant drop off after that.
I'm not saying come out and run the triple option, which we're playing the game here. How many offensive schemes can I name in this podcast? But
let's try it. Go. Ride them off. 10 seconds. Go.
Triple option, air raid.
Those are the two we started with.
Read option, I guess. All right, time up.
Yeah, you failed miserably.
I'm not saying go get drilled. Just take the 10 yards when it's there.
Yep. Didn't mention too, our quarterbacks coach is Glenn Thomas. I do appreciate how our staff is organized this year. We talked about that in the spring some too, how everybody's in charge of one position. We don't have anybody that's, OC and a position coach. Like Dana is just the OC. I do appreciate how our staff is organized this year. Backing up Dylan, I think there's maybe a little favoritism here towards Jalen Gramstead since he's the veteran guy that's played college football before, as our number 2. But I've heard a lot of good things from TJ Lateef in camp right now. Marco Stabila is also there. Obviously, Heinrich Harburg is an emergency option, but he's fully converted to a tight end now. So I think it's Jalen Gramstead's job if Raiola were to go down or, have to come out of the game for a helmet thing. I haven't seen him. We haven't seen him in action much, but
we hope to never see him in action.
We hope we never do. Is there a lack of depth at the backup quarterback position? Maybe, yes. But as we've said, how many Division I programs have a great backup? There's not many. So yeah, you hope it never comes to that. If it does, it's very worrisome. But I do think you have a guy that at least has played a lot of snaps before, and you know what? Maybe if you can get Lateef in there in a couple of those early games and get him comfortable with the speed of play and everything, he might be someone that you can use and hopefully not use all 4 of his redshirt games. But it sounds like he's done some good things in camp.
Now I was just thinking about this. Talking about Harburg, how many designed quarterback plays do you think he's going to have?
We'll get there and talk about tight ends.
Okay.
Okay.
It was, I mean, to be fair to Dak, we were
Yep.
talking quarterbacks, so I don't know if I need to say anything about our backup quarterbacks. I agree. It's probably Jalen Graham's dad. Hopefully we never see him.
Okay, let's move on down the line here. Let's go to our backfield, the rest of the backfield. Running backs. And this is the one position I will say that I think I've heard the most highs and lows as far as what we are expecting going into the fall. Emmett Johnson is also clear-cut number one heading into the year as a junior. After that, I've heard a lot of names. Mekhi Nelson's looked great over the last few weeks. Quentin Ives was kind of the number two going into camp and is still in the mix there as a sophomore. Isaiah Mosey has shown some splashes there. It's going to be one of those three most likely sprinkled in with Emmett Johnson. Do I think Emmett Johnson's going to get 20 plus carries a game? No. I some offenses but do that, but there's fewer and fewer of those at all levels of football where you just have a workhorse every down back. You're going to see some of these other young guys get in there. And what's great about it, they're all great and maybe a hesitation. They're all young. There's no seniority in the backfield, but I think the most important thing here is which of these guys can make a guy or two miss and turn a 2-yard rush into a 6-yard rush, can turn a 8-yard rush that was well blocked by it up front into making the second level miss and turning that into a 45-yard rush. Like, which of these guys can show to do that? Because we have not had one of those backs in, man, it feels like it's been maybe since Amir.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some decent guys in there, right?
What was the guy that, oh wow, I just blinked on his name. Morgan. What's his name? Morgan? Not Morgan. He got charged for like child porn, remember?
Maurice
Oh yeah,
Washington.
Maurice.
Like,
Maurice
yeah.
again,
Washington.
there's some guys that had some stuff there, but I think we're looking for a guy that can break through as a really. I'm not saying we need a 10 out of 10 running back, but one you can rely on to get some extra yardage here.
I mean, I expect it's gonna be Emmett Johnson. He's not, like I said, he's not gonna be quite like the bell cow, but I think we're gonna be passing to our running backs a lot. So I think Emmett Johnson and Isaiah Mosey, who was a wide receiver in high school, got moved over to running back, probably will see a lot more time than you'd think. I'm fine if we just I kind of like the consistency. Obviously, want I have the fresh legs, but I'm fine if it's mostly Emmett Johnson 80% of the time out there.
Yeah, and it sounds like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think doesn't sound like Mekhi Nelson's going to be like your second running back. Like they're really high on him coming out of camp.
He's definitely had a very good spring and fall as a freshman. I think a lot of these guys too, don't want to bring this up and jinx it, but hanging on to the ball.
Yep.
We can't be putting balls on the turf and losing possessions that way. It sounds like, and this is what we're going to hear, Emmett Johnson put on the weight that he needed to put on, maybe looked a little bit slimmer and got muscular over the offseason. Quentin Ives maybe lost his 10 pounds to slim down so he can be less of just a power back and more of a all around, that's obviously what you want to hear. It sounds like these guys are there, and then Mekhi Nelson seems to be a stud. So, like, we have some pieces there. Last year, what did we say? We had a bunch of 5 out of 10 running backs, like across the board. I think we could get there again this year, but we need to get a guy to step up and become the 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Like, one of these guys need to do that. And Emmett's the front runner of doing that, but who knows? Like, I think all these guys are going to get some minutes early on in the year and some snaps. So we'll see who breaks out of this group with running backs coach EJ Barthel, who is one of the few that have made it through here in 3 years, a full 3 years.
Yeah, he was almost poached. There was
Yep.
rumors he was going to, I don't remember, I don't even remember where. Probably A&M.
All right. Moving on. Let's go wide receivers here. Da'Keil Shorts coming from Kentucky brings Dane Key with him in the transfer portal. And Isaiah Hunter also in the portal coming over. And then we bring back Ja'Cory Barney. Had a very good, solid freshman year. I think last year, you knew maybe he'd get some snaps, but he really broke out kind of as our best receiver towards the end of the year. I think, those other couple of transfers we had were solid, did some good things, but Ja'Cory Barney was one that everybody got most excited for.
I mean, he's a guy that fits Dana Holgerson's
Agreed.
middle of the field.
And if you haven't seen pictures of him, he looks very much to be in shape and doing well for a receiver. So Demetrius Bell is another one that maybe some special teams time, but I think we could see him on offense too. Like I've heard a lot of good things about him, another slot type of guy. Jeremiah Jones, Keelan Smith, some of these other names you might have heard. Janiron Bonner, the converted fullback, continues to grow as a receiver. Cortez Mills, Keelan Smith, Quinn Clark, like a lot of young guys here. The guy that really is leading the room is Dane Key as the only senior on this roster here. And that's the kind of type of guy that I think you want in that position that has done it before at another Power 5 school. Some of these other transfers we've gotten were not in that same boat. Maybe didn't play in some of the tough environments that Power 5 schools play in. And Dane Key was their number one guy too. It wasn't like he was a secondary option. He's used to being the guy. And I think that could bode very, very well if him and Dylan can hit it off early. Having a guy like that on the field, you see it at all levels, you benefit greatly is if the defense has to focus on a stud out there. Is Dane Key everything and you hope for? You hope so. But again, don't know until we see it. Wide receivers, I mentioned Da'Keil Shorts already. So Isaiah Hunter's the other one that I think we could see a lot of flashes here from him. He is also only a sophomore. I every time I think of a transfer, I think like junior, senior, because I think that's what we've had. He's only a sophomore, and I think he's got a potential 2 more years here of really breaking out and being a very, very key player in the Dana Holgerson offense.
I mean, it is crazy when you talk about the age. Dane Key's the senior, and then there's Janarian Bonner is the redshirt junior on the depth chart, and the rest are freshmen or sophomores.
Yep.
3 sophomores. I think I guess Demetrius Bell's a redshirt sophomore. So that's a young room.
Had a lot of movement, a lot of transfers out.
Yep.
It makes it interesting. I'm just bringing one up for a guy like Malachi Coleman who leaves to go to Minnesota. Like, it's a position that you think he probably could have played if he would have stayed here. But you know what? Maybe those top 3 guys or 4 guys, like maybe he saw the writing on the wall and he's like, oh, I'm just going to be fifth wheel here again. But you would think that a guy like that could have seen some playing time.
I mean, yeah, I would say, like I said, I expect Ja'Cory Barney to lead the team in targets and probably
You think so?
Yards. I think so. And then Dane Key's more likely to lead in yards and Ja'Cory will lead in targets.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone's high on Dane Key, and then Hunter. Do you think Cortez Mills will push Hunter for that wide receiver 3 spot?
I think that's a very valid point. Like, I think he's another guy just like Mekhi Nelson who's shined a lot in camp. And what's hard but not hard as receivers, it's not like offensive linemen where you want some seniority there because of their physical development. Like sometimes
You
receivers,
just
it's okay
want
to
ass
be.
big dudes.
Yep. And I think, as you talk about receiver prototypes and stereotypes, you got your possession dudes, which we've seen the lack. That, it's 3rd and 6, and you need a guy just to go run a quick 8-yard curl, and you can throw it to him, and you can expect him to catch it over a DB that he's 5 inches taller than. There's those kind of receivers that we have not had in a long time. I
Jeremiah
think
Jones is a giant.
he's a big dude. I think of guys like Mike Evans, when that comes to mind of guys that have played recently in the NFL, and then you have your speed guys. You have your guys that we've had a lot of in the past where they can just run a post and get by people. Now have we had the quarterbacks to hit those guys? No, we haven't. But you have those guys too, and that's kind of what Corey Barney and those kind of slot guys are better at. And then you know what? Then you have the all-around guys. I think Isaiah Hunter falls in between that, from what I've heard and seen. Again, we haven't seen a couple of these guys play live action. Dak, I agree with though with Cortez Mills. Like, I think he
It
could be
sounds
one of
like
those all-around guys.
Hunter's not guaranteed that 3rd spot right now.
Yeah, I think he's the favorite, but I agree. I think it's always good to have competition.
Jacory and Dane are pretty locked in, though. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are all. I think a lot of these guys we mentioned are going to play. I think in a Dana offense, and just more and more in today's football offensive scheming world, you play a lot of guys. You play the guys that are hot. Like, there's not many locked in positions outside of the few that we've mentioned in an offense like this. So, which is good and bad. Like, you want healthy competition to continue to get guys better every week.
And just like, okay, so last year everybody's high on Nader coming in, and he had a solid year, but you want more from Danke than you got from Nader.
Yep. Or Banks. I mean, Banks was good, but
And then you can go back a year before his first year. We got that guy from Virginia, little Billy Kemp. Like,
oh,
that was
you
your guy.
remember all
That
the
was
hype on Billy Kemp, and he was just. Oh,
I do also remember on this podcast specifically being like, yeah, he's got a lot of hype, but he is like a 6th-year senior,
yeah.
I
still
didn't think
transferring.
Billy Kemp was as bad as what you said he was. I thought he was okay.
He's all we had.
True. I
I mean,
guess.
that was one point
That
I
was the
heard.
year we ran 70% of the, snaps.
That was one point I heard on a different podcast. They said, think about the group that we're talking about going into this year, and think about the group we had in Rudel's first year, which again feels like it was a long time ago. This group, but like I can't even remember the name of those guys who we rolled out 2 years ago for Rule. Like that wide receiving group was brutal, and there's a reason why we ran it so much. I don't even know if I want to look at the names who it was.
Pull him up, Austin. I want
I'm
to.
pulling it
I don't
up.
remember anyone besides Billy Kemp. Who that? I mean,
I
they were
mean,
kind of just forcing the
Because
ball. Billy
Heinrich,
Kemp.
that was the year Heinrich was our starting quarterback, correct?
I think that was the year we had like 8 different guys play quarterback for us.
All right, we've got Billy Kemp. Oh boy. Alante Brown.
I don't even remember him at all.
DeColdest Crawford. I'm trying to see if there's any names that I
Ooh.
remember. I'm literally reading them and I don't know who these people are.
Okay, Jalen Lloyd, Malachi Coleman played quite a bit. Josh Fleeks,
Yeah, Josh
Fedoni played,
Leaks.
tight end. Jaden Doss got a couple of catches. Alex Bullock was the one I was thinking of.
He was on the team last year. He did all right. He was a really good blocker. Everyone loves him. Ty Hahn,
Whoa! Hold up. Heinrich is not the starter.
2 years ago?
Game 1, my boy.
Okay,
Jeff
you're right.
Sims.
You're right. Jeff Sims was the start of the year.
and old Chuba.
And old Cheva.
So I mean, again, think about the to Dak's point at the very beginning of the players, the talent, the people that we have working with to run something more complex, throwing the ball a little. Like, the pieces we had to work with from a talent level were not there year one. I mean, our leading receiver was Billy Kemp with 35 receptions and 310 yards. So Dak, and he had 1 touchdown. Maybe that's what you thought. He wasn't that bad. Well, that was our leading receiver on the entire year.
Uh-huh.
So
Not
back
bad.
back to this year's team. Like,
We're in a better spot.
we're in a
think
better
we're-
spot, and we should be, right. It is year 3. Like, not to say that this is like the best thing ever. No, we should be. If
This
we
is
weren't,
probably was it be safe to say that this is the group we feel second best about behind quarterback
Maybe.
on offense?
Maybe there's.
maybe I think one of the positions here we're going to talk about here a little bit. I think
Mhm.
I'm a little more
Wow,
than
Hunter.
there.
I think I know what position you're talking about. That's so optimistic for
I
you.
think we're thinking the same thing, Hunter.
Um,
Tight
moving
end.
tight ends here. It's not tight ends.
What?
Luke Lindenmeyer, Heinrich Harburg. I don't know who's going to start there. Luke Lindenmeyer maybe seems more of the all around guy that can do a little bit of both. I think Heinrich just still building. He's gotten a lot of progress towards building himself to a tight end body, but he's still going to be your athletic, probably more down the field, stretch the field, receiving type of tight end than blocking. Carter Nelson, I think, is in that same boat as well. Losing
Is
Mac
Carter going to be
Markway,
healthy by the time the season starts? Is he fine?
I don't know for sure.
Because there was originally talk that he was going to be out for a while, but there's like he's participating in practice. People are like, oh, he looks good.
Yeah. Um, I think, I mean, he's going to play. I think he's probably the third guy for sure here, but I, I'm excited. I'm intrigued, I guess, to see how we utilize Heinrich. Fully converted now. We had to use him at quarterback over the past couple of years. Luke Lindenmeyer could be a very all around guy. He is a junior. I do like that these guys are experienced guys. We're not rolling out a younger guy that you're going to play on the line a lot. I think you're going to be in tight on this offense. So do I feel great about him? It hurts losing a depth guy that he would have played some. I'm guessing at some level, but I do feel good or okay, I guess, about Lindenmeyer and Harburg. I want to see us use Harburg though and not to say that it needs to be exactly like this, but like how they used Tyler Warren last year at Penn State. And Tyler Warren obviously was a dude, right? Like, I'm not saying Heinrich Harburg is Tyler Warren, but Tyler Warren, like, they utilized him extensively in their offense, including like putting him under center and running some like wildcat power stuff with him, which I wouldn't put that against Dana and Rule in this offense to do some of that with Heinrich because he's got that ability to do that with his body and his athleticism.
I mean, if we were to pick a single player to be like, this is the player that I would like to break out the most, it'd probably be Heinrich as a tight end, for being honest.
I agree. I don't disagree. Like, I think he's a homegrown Husker too. Like, I think people want that to work really
Yes,
well
we
for
want it
what
to
he's gone
work.
through.
He sacrificed. He's like, I'm not gonna be quarterback. We need tight ends. I'll be a tight end. He's athletic. He's a likable guy. But I feel the way Carter, we'll see, because he had a hip surgery in the spring. So I remember he missed the spring game, and there's talk that he might be out longer, but I guess he's okay. So I mean, if Carter's healthy, he'll be higher on the depth chart, I'd expect, than Heinrich. Just because, I mean, Rulf loved Carter Nelson. And by the end of the year, Carter was getting a pretty good run at it. I don't know. We'll see. I would say this is the weakest group on the offensive side.
Yep.
Um, but I would like to see both Heinrich and Carter do well. Those are probably the two more offensive players I'm more excited to see and hope to do the best on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Now, Dak, before you go, I do think we have a very, very solid and good tight ends coach here. You want to talk about that?
Me?
Yeah.
I have no idea who your tight ends coach is.
Yeah, you do.
Yes,
you
you
know
do.
who it is.
He's still on staff.
Oh,
What'd you call him earlier?
It's
Dumb nuts?
Satterfield.
Oh, yeah.
Good old dumb nuts or whatever you called him earlier.
Good God. Well, this position is screwed. Yeah, I think it's really thin at the position. I think I don't think the tight end position will get used much in the passing game this year, as it normally. I mean, to be honest, how much has Nebraska really used the tight end in the passing game at all?
I mean, historically, rarely.
I think Heinrich Harburg will get used in the passing game. Will he always look like a traditional tight end? What you think of when you're like a Travis Kelce? No, but I think Heinrich will get used. I mean, he might look like a receiver at times in some of their formations, but I think Heinrich will get used.
I agree. I think you'll see Carter Nelson kind of line out like a receiver as well.
Yeah, so let's set. Okay, so we're talking about with the quarterbacks. Let's set the over under. How many times a game does Heinrich Harburg get the snap at quarterback?
Over the course of the season, I'll take the over on 6.5.
I was gonna say 5.5.
A
Yep.
game?
No,
total.
for the season total, not per game.
Okay. I mean, it kind of reminded me of Blake Bell at Oklahoma. I think that they'll like short yardage. I think they'll bring him in just like get a yard or two, 3rd and 1s.
Maybe we could. Like, I'm not saying that won't happen.
They would rather run Heinrich than they would Dylan.
Yeah,
Those probably.
I don't know that we will go full like Blake Bell or Taysom Hill type of
right
utilization with them. I don't think it's that level, but do I think that there's opportunities there? Yes. I think they really are trying to get him more of a tight end, but I think there's still skill there. And I do believe there are trick plays in the bag where Heinrich will have the ability to throw it, and we'll use them if needed.
Yeah, that's the main thing is if he can throw it too. So I don't like Blake Bell when he came in. You knew he was going to run. At least Heinrich can throw the ball a little bit. So you can add that wrinkle in there.
Heinrich can do anything.
He can do it all.
I hope he plays so well this year. I really do.
Oh,
okay.
Before we move on, shout out Fedoni got in the end zone for I think the Bills. 2-point conversion.
More they did for
Nebraska.
Number 1 tight end.
It was the Bills.
How many NFL tight ends has Nebraska produced? And he was on a roster.
Tight end to you, baby. We're tight end to you here.
Ethan Carter. It's like, oh, that guy was on a roster all year, but he got picked up by the Bengals. Okay.
Do you count Cam Jurgens as a tight end?
I mean, technically, he was recruited as a tight end.
Okay. Offensive line, ending with
the high
question the most important group. As always. As we've mentioned, and we'll reiterate it, it all starts up front. If you don't have even an average offensive line, if you have an average, it's okay. If you have a really good one, well, really good things happen with your offense. But if your offensive line struggles, I don't care what you're trying to run for a scheme. All of Dak's 3 schemes that he could name off the top of his head. Like, you can't run any of them if you don't have guys that can block up front. And we have seen the worst of that over the last 7 years of doing this podcast. We've also seen some very, very strong offensive lines. Well, maybe we haven't seen, but we have heard at Nebraska of those lines that have taken our teams a long ways into the postseason. So just reiterating the importance of these guys that Dak mentioned, they don't get named, they don't get praised, you don't hear about them a whole lot, but they're so important. And I think if you're rebuilding any team, you start here, you have to strengthen the guys up front. And even more specifically, you have to strengthen the guys that are, to me, closest to the ball. Like, your center and guards have got to be some dudes. And tackles are obviously important as well. I'm not saying they're not, because especially when you get to passing downs, we've seen what happens when your tackles completely whiff on edge rushers to your quarterback. But having guys up front is critical. That being said, I don't even want to try to predict exactly what our line is going to look like left to right, because I've heard so many names and seen so many different predictions.
We know
offensive line guys are interchangeable.
Right. We know like the 8 to 10 guys that are going to play.
And that number right there is why I'm excited. Is, I was going to say, 7 to 8, 7 to 9. We have some guys that I think we feel good about. And on top of that, we have a couple of guys that aren't in the what I'm calling the projected starting five that played a lot of snaps in previous years. That hey, are they horrible offensive linemen? No, but I think it speaks volume that a guy like Turner Corcoran, is probably not going to be starting for us this year. Where the past couple of years he's starting or been playing a lot of snaps. Now Turner's going to see a lot of snaps as a redshirt senior. Like he's still going to be there, but he's probably not a guy that is going to start this year because we brought in Rocco Spindler from Notre Dame, who was on the team that played in the national championship game last year
and started games for them.
and started.
He wasn't their season starter, but he did start for them.
We brought in Elijah Pritchett from Alabama, who is a junior this year, saw a lot of time on the field at Alabama. Justin Evans is our confirmed center up front. If I had to be a little hesitant, which I think is the most important position, is maybe him. I think he can do a good job. Yeah. He hasn't been talked about a lot, got a lot of hype, but he's going to be our center this year. I think, why am I blanking on our centers last year? The Arizona State transfer.
Not Ben Nelson. Wow, I also just blanked.
But he was solid. Like did a lot of good things. He wasn't outstanding by any means.
Ben Scott.
Yeah. So he's replacing Ben Scott at center. Henry Lutovsky sounds like he's had a very, very good offseason. And I believe he's the Oklahoma State transfer from a couple of years ago. Went to Big Ten media days, which I think just kind of tells you this is a guy that they're expecting to start about every game. That was not really known until that point. Tyler Kanak is a guy that could be on that projected starting five between him or Teddy Prohaska. Gunnar Gatula, another one in that mix. He could be the other starter there at right tackle or left tackle. Again, do I know exactly what it's going to look like left to right? No. Like, I don't think anybody's really going to know until those five roll out, and that's going to be something everybody's watching for. Brock Knutson, another one, a younger guy. Grant Bricks, another young guy that I think you're going to hear be in that mix. And so Sammy Sledge is a backup center and will probably stay there unless needed in an emergency. So, I mean, there's your 7, 8, 9 guys that are getting talked about, and guys, again, that you feel pretty good about going into the year. Now, do we want guys to just get banged up and injured? No, like that you never want that, but you feel like you have some depth here. You have some veterans. When you look at your projected starting five, and most of them are seniors, juniors, and seniors, you feel good about that. Guys, I like this group. Do I think they're going to be a 9, 10 out of 10? No. But do I think they're going to be one of the more solid core up front that we've had in the past few years? I think they could be.
I mean, the question is, are they going to stand up against like the Michigan front four?
Agreed.
We felt all right about our offensive line, and then we play Michigan or Ohio State, and it's like, ooh, okay, this isn't what we wanted. And it's year 4 of the Raiola O-line coaching. So I mean, you'd expect O-line to take longer to turn over because it is a more developmental position, and there does have to be more physical growth. So I mean, this would be the year that you'd see the payoff of switching to a better O-line coach in theory, because you've given it a whole training rotation basically with the red shirting, and this would be kind of their year 3 as red shirts, plus with the addition of the transfers. So I probably agree that this is one of the better positions. I mean, it's them or the wide receivers. But yeah, like if we had, if knock on wood, Teddy Prohaska goes down with another season-ending injury, you're not like, oh shoot, what are we gonna do?
Right.
Like I'd be I really hope Teddy stays healthy all year, but it's like, is that a guy like do we just keep him as a backup and like not run him out there
As
all
needed.
the time? Yeah.
Dak, you had a confused look on your face.
I was confused. Oh, I was. Are you talking like how long ago? I didn't know who the center was.
Oh, Ben Scott.
But I think I've said this in other podcasts. O-line is the one spot where the transfer portal is the easiest to bring somebody in. Because if you can block for anybody.
Interesting.
That's what I think. And
Uh,
these transfers you brought in, I think
But
are
there's a
gonna
little
help
bit
out
more of
lot.
a cohesion that's required.
yes, and I don't think there's as numerous of people entering the portal. So I think
That's
to
true.
me that makes it harder. 'Cause I don't think there's as many offensive linemen entering the portal as other positions. But continue.
Yeah, I just think those two transfers you got are gonna help out a lot. And it's like you said, it's not gonna be a 9 out of 10. All you need is just a solid online. You don't need. I mean, it'd be nice to have a 9 out of 10, but if you just have an online that will give Arlo to enough time back there to where he's not panicking every time he goes back to pass, basically, is all you want, and make some room for him at Johnson, do something. This is like the first year I can ever remember that. What the hell is his name? Your tackle last year is not on the team. But I
Bryce
felt like he was there
Benhart.
80 years.
Bryce
Benhart.
Benhart.
Ben Hart. Yep. Sadly, that guy's gone.
Most starts in Nebraska history.
Yeah. Sadly, okay, he did
Hey,
improve.
you say that, but last year he was
He
actually
was
pretty
good.
decent.
He did.
Yeah.
He was good last year. Now, freshman and in the year before that, awful. But so whatever you have at tackle is going to be better than him. And yeah, I just think it's going to be a solid group.
That you mentioned Raiola. I think one thing that he's shown is he's made guys better. Speaking of someone like Ben Hart, like he has found
Yeah.
ways to develop guys. I think in combination of that with Dana being able to scheme around your offensive line and run plays, run schemes that will benefit your strengths and kind of hide your weaknesses. I think that's something that good offensive coordinators can do. Again, doesn't get talked about when you think of designing a play. You're not really thinking about your O line. You're thinking about routes. You're thinking about lanes. Like offensive linemen can be used very intricately to make your offense really, really good. And that's another faith that you're putting in to Dana, offensive coordinator, and then Donovan that this group could be very solid with the different pieces that they have. So that's why I feel good in their experience. Like we're not rolling out a true freshman, I don't think starting.
I don't even know if we have a true freshman to roll. I guess we have one true freshman to roll out.
Yeah. We got guys that have played or were on the team last year that maybe played behind some guys, got some snaps. I mean, Gunnar Gatula got some snaps last year. Grant Bricks and got still retained his red shirt status there.
I mean,
Lutovsky got a lot of snaps last year. Like, well, I don't think he was a week one starter. He started some games towards the end of the year due to injuries and stuff. So we got guys that have played some major college football, and I think that will only bode well.
Teddy was a starter for
correct
however many years before he blows his knee out.
Correct. So
O-line's like the one position that you look at the depth the most because odds are you're going to lose one of your offensive linemen for a game.
Right. One of these people will miss the end of the year.
It'll be Teddy. We all know that.
I don't want to say it out loud, Hunter.
I really hope it doesn't. I really hope for his sake. Like I really hope it doesn't. But.
Just give me, I want Teddy. Give me all the Nebraska-born boys just to have a great year.
So you want to have depth, and it looks like that they have decent depth behind your starters.
So how many starting offensive linemen have to go down before we throw Heinrich in there? Left tackle.
Zero. He's going to start.
Move him in. Last thing, I guess, on the offense here before we close out today. What do you guys want to see? Obviously, you want things to look good. But what specifically do you want to see here the first few games of the year? We have 2 games that we've chalked up as wins. Knock on wood, we better not lose those 2. But Cincinnati game 1 early in the year. Like what are some things you're looking for? You want to see early on in the year?
Biased. I want to see just and like electric connections between Ja'Cory, Dylan, Emmett, and Heinrich, where it's just like they're all in the same brain. Like, oh, this guy, he's doing this.
Throw Dane for me in there, but yes. Yep.
Yeah, just the cohesion and efficiency, and just being like, okay, these guys know what they're doing, and they're on the same page, and not it's not always a completion, but it's like, oh, that was the right call, and it wasn't quite a catch. Like it was good defense. So that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Dane Key is gonna do because there's a lot of hype behind him. And then Harburg, I want to see how they use him. And then we just talked about, but the O line, I want to see if it's actually going to be a solid group for once.
Along with all those things, I want to see things pop early on, in whatever way, shape, form that looks like. Like I think last year, the oh my gosh, that was good moments all resulted in like 12-yard gains, or like we had a good run design. We're like, oh my gosh, we got 8 yards. Like, or oh my God, Dylan can freaking throw it. And he threw a nice 20-yard pass across the middle. Like, I want to see things just take that next step and pop in these games, especially the Akron and Houston Christian game, but even the Cincinnati game. Like, there's no reason to think that this offense can't come out and just go, whoa. And all of that is going to be a result of the things that you guys mentioned, and your key players coming together and saying, nope, like Dylan, Ja'Cory, Dane, like in the passing game, like, nope, we're going to be a huge threat to opposing defenses when we're on the field. Emmett Johnson, when I get the ball, good luck tackling me. Like, I want to see some of that pop. I think we saw that last year, but again, I don't think that resulted in yards and points like we hope to. And I'm speaking specifically about a Dylan Raiola led offense, and then a Dana Holgerson late in the year designed and called offense. Like, we saw those moments, like, okay, this is good. This is good. Like, I like this. Like, I think I remember the Wisconsin game. You were like, whoa, this is what offense could look like here. Like, I want to see that consistently for 3 games early in the year. And I think there's potential there. But if there's not, I think that's when we're not hitting the panic button, because I don't think we're going to be any worse than 2-1. But you're saying, okay, how are we crawling out to 6 or 7 wins here if our offense doesn't have that, with everything we've talked about today and the hype that I guess that we're on, even though our offense has been really bad the past few years. Like, I think this has potential
That's
to be
why
one
we're
of the
hyped
better
about it. It's
offenses.
because it's been bad. There's room
Yeah.
for improvement, and we can see that there's a path for improvement.
Yeah, last offseason at this time, we were coming in from a year watching like any 1 yard gain was awesome.
No interceptions would have that was the bar.
Yes.
Yeah, you scream anytime you throw the year before. So now you're coming in with seeing a year of a decent offense and hopefully build off that.
Yep. Yeah, I guess before we close out,
We ranked top 100.
Archie Wilson hype. We forgot to mention that the Archie Wilson hype has arrived and is here and it's real. And I guess volleyball red white scrimmage. The girls look pretty deep on that side too. So it could be a good fall. Could be a good fall, fellas.
I think preseason ranked
Number one.
Number one.
Did you watch it, Austin? I heard it was on TV.
I watched highlights of it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but it was the ladies on the team, basically they're making it sound like, yeah, practice is harder than games. So, and I mean, we look pretty deep across the board. So feel pretty good about that. Danny whipping them into shape.
Yeah, I'm pumped for the Archie Wilson talk on Thursday.
Yep.
We'll talk defense, special teams on Thursday. Similar breakdown as we did today with the offense. So until then, thanks for listening. Follow us on social media. Dak's out there shooting tweets left and right on our Twitter page at Glory Return. We got an Instagram page, Return to Glory. Check us out there, and we'll see you Thursday. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.